Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsockеtradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
It's Coffee Ann on ON, AM, and FM. Thank you for joining us on Thursday morning. It's the last day of July. Wow. Summer's flying by, huh? It's July the 31st. This is Joe Callahan. Around the table, there's Sue Tester-McKenzie. Hi, Sue.
Good morning, everybody.
Why can't we hear Sue? Let's try that. Say it again.
Close enough.
There you
Good
go.
morning.
I know you're short, but you are close enough to the
Right.
to the microphone. Bob
Try to
Lauder is
sit
here as
tall.
well.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Nice to have the two of you back this week, as you both took last week off.
And I didn't know you were taking...
I'm not going to look anything into it.
You know what? I messaged Dave. I said, I need a day off.
It just
I'm
happens.
Taking
So
a day off.
The way it goes. All right. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240. So the first thing I'm going to start off with, it's not anything newsworthy. It's more or less observations that I've made. And I mentioned this to Dave yesterday, and he agreed with me, which is, surprising. This is the way we are in our society today. Okay?
All right.
And see if you agree with me.
Oh, I love these kind of
Okay.
opinions.
Friday, July 4th, Independence Day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. On Saturday, July 5th, you know what started? Back to school sales.
Of course it did.
And I'm talking the big box stores. So it was Walmart, Kohl's, Target, and then Staples.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, school's already been out maybe 2 weeks.
Yep.
School doesn't start for another 8 weeks, and it's back to school time. Like this,
Okay.
So what are we agreeing with or not agreeing with?
well, it's not back to school time yet.
Oh, God, no.
You should at least wait till August. But now it gets worse.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I've noticed, I think I noticed it either on the 12th or the 19th of
He's
July.
He's going to talk about Halloween.
Halloween candy for sale in the grocery stores. Because you can tell they got the whole aisle, and everything's in an orange or black box with little vampires and witches on them. So
Okay, that's understandable. I mean,
in July, no, it's not.
well, wait. Candy you can always use. I mean, if you buy candy now for October,
Well, that's what-
you're probably going to be, enjoying a lot of it before Halloween.
You
comes.
can enjoy all of it before Halloween.
Who's buying Halloween candy to save it to October in July?
Well, I wouldn't
Nobody.
be saving it.
Nobody is doing that. And I was also in CVS, and they've got displays up with the Charlie Brown, It's the Great Pumpkin.
Yep.
I was also over here in Park Square, pulled into the Ocean State job lot in that parking lot because I had to check something on my phone. And I looked up, and here comes someone walking across the sidewalk. He's walking to the Spirit of Halloween store.
Mm-hmm.
It was locked. He couldn't get in. So someone is looking to buy Halloween stuff
Absolutely.
right now. Now, I don't know when the Spirit of Halloween store opens at Park Square. Probably tomorrow. Or sometime right in the early August. But I don't know when. But they're going to be open soon as well. Had another friend, went over to Lowe's. Lowe's? Yeah, Lowe's in North Smithfield.
Mm-hmm.
There is a
The big ghost.
gigantic, yes, it's a 6-foot-tall Nosferatu vampire that you can purchase.
Yo.
Okay, it's got red eyes. It's got a try me button on it, so it either moves or makes sounds or does both. Okay, It is $450.
Whoa.
$450. So I'm thinking, if I see this on anybody's lawn, and now you can make this observation too, if you see it on anybody's lawn, you know they just have money to burn. If you're paying $450 for this, it's just that's insane.
Maybe they just enjoy it.
I know, but it's $450, Bob. That's what I'm saying.
it's-
The cost is just it's outrageous. It's
Well,
outrageous for what it does.
Yeah, that's considered. What is that? I don't.
Ornaments.
No. I get that. Hello.
All right.
Really.
There's some people in Woonsocket. There's a guy over on Privilege Street. He has a fantastic display at Halloween. It covers his entire front yard. It's all kinds of different characters. It is really impressive.
All right.
And, the guy likes the stuff. That's great.
Now, next observation is still to come, all right? Because it is Halloween now.
Okay.
All right. But Labor Day is coming. Labor Day is September 1st this year.
All right.
All right. Watch. September 2nd, if you go back over to Lowe's or Home Depot, possibly Walmart, the Christmas trees will be up. The inflatable Santa Clauses and the inflatable snowmen, they'll be up and running. Christmas starts on Labor Day.
Makes sense to me.
How does that make sense, Bob?
So hold up. So when are we giving our opinion?
I don't know.
Are we ready?
That was fine.
Okay, so my personal opinion is enjoy what's in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
It's summertime, enjoy your summer. However, I do understand why they do it. Everybody's trying to get a
it's
jump
money,
on
yeah.
everybody else.
Yeah.
And if you don't sell these things, now you got to discount them and you got to, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Do I agree with it? No, I do not. Do I have to participate in it?
No.
I do not. Stay away from that aisle. Stay away from the back to school that I don't need. Just get what you got to get, do what you got to do,
And get out.
that's it.
We've had calls at the station, people in past years complaining that the Christmas stuff is up too early.
Yep, everybody complains
And
about
I'm
that.
like, well, okay, but they're a private business and can do whatever they want. Don't you understand that? And and if you don't like it, don't go there.
That's all you can do. If
Just
you are that, I mean, I don't agree with any of it.
Yeah.
But guess what? Not my circus, not my monkeys. I got bigger things in my life to worry about.
I think Sue's absolutely right regarding the marketing. Yes, that's why they do it.
Well,
sure.
it's just something to be aware of.
But now Halloween's coming.
Right.
Are we going to be wearing costumes in here on Halloween?
I'm going to come as a lawyer, okay?
Ooh, that's scarier than anything.
No, I don't do
Whoa,
I don't do
whoa.
I don't do costumes. So, those
Brian's
days
a
are
lawyer.
gone.
Jeez.
But speaking of Halloween, and I read this online, and it's either maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but some people are predicting that within the next 20 years or so, kids will no longer go door to door trick or treating, and it's already started. What do we have now? Started maybe about 5 years ago.
You got the trunk or treat. Well,
The trunk
but
or-
hold up.
that's
Hold up.
it.
What was 5 years ago? Hold up.
All right,
Back it up.
All right, go back maybe a little longer than 2020.
Right. So the trunk or treats.
The trunk or treat events.
They're all over the place.
That's right.
However, I believe children will continue to go door to door, but the difference being
Yep.
the people that are going to participate
Maybe
in
less. Okay.
distributing the candy. For us, we live on third floor.
Don't say anybody.
Nobody wants to walk up the stairs.
Yeah.
I can remember dropping little bags of goodies downstairs. And one year we were in the backyard. We had the tiki torches going. We were cooking on the grill. It was dark, and you had to walk down the driveway. I mean, we're sitting here with all the lights, everything, and they wouldn't even walk down the driveway.
Wow.
So it's all right. So whatever. Were you scared? It's Halloween, okay? And there were no ghosts. We were not in costumes.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just lazy.
Bob, do you see less kids trick or treating
Well,
if you look back over the number of years?
It's difficult to say because in our neighborhood we don't have a whole lot of people who have their lights on at Halloween. But last year we had 150,
That's a
175
lot.
kids.
That is a lot.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
And that's pretty much standard for the last few years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
a lot.
So it's just someone making an observation that they just think, and some municipalities outlaw trick or treating at night, and the kids have to do it during the day.
Right,
So
and
there's
they
that
set
issue.
it up a special
Yeah, it's
day, and it's going to be
1 to
this
5
day,
or whatever
and-
it is.
Yeah, and it's set up so they can still get the enjoyment
Yeah,
of it.
it's all part of. We're
Right.
trying to keep everybody safe.
Safe.
Yeah.
Right.
Not have little guys walking along the streets in the
Of
dark.
course not. And
Yes.
the trunk or treats, again, it really elevated, during COVID.
Yep.
And it's, I think it's a wonderful
And now it's
thing.
growing.
I've never been to one, never, even with my grandkids or anything. I've never been to a trunk or treat. I don't know. I've always had, when we trick or treated for fun,
Yes.
not, oh, we got to get more candy. It was to enjoy. Of course,
You're outside at night, no parents.
You're out. No, I was always there because I.
Well, no, when you were a kid.
I was no.
No.
Oh no! I was in costume. I had and still have, and I've had it for about 25 years now. this lovely goblet. We call it googly eyes because it's a pumpkin, and he's standing, and that was filled with cosmos.
Okay.
And I can remember my husband running home because we only went in our neighborhood. We just went for the fun, and my husband would run home, refill, because he didn't take extra with you. We were just in the neighborhood, and my girlfriend started doing the same thing, so we'd all go out. We went out for the fun.
Okay.
What is Cosmos?
It's
It's a drink, Bob.
it's an alcoholic.
It's cosmopolitan.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Well, that's only if you're classy. On Halloween, it's just a Cosmo.
But I have noticed that when I did take my kids around, some families, they're very neighborly and they're very friendly with each other, and so 3 or 4 houses all get together.
Yep.
And okay, trick or treating is at just this one driveway.
Yeah.
And there's like 3 or 4 bowls of candy
Yep.
that each family has brought.
Oh, wow.
They
Right.
usually set up and sometimes they set up, depending on the temperature, they'll set up a fire pit.
Yep.
And maybe they're roasting marshmallows with it, but
Yeah.
in the back are usually the men drinking
Of course.
heavily.
It's it's just for you want to make
It's
it
a
fun
social
for
thing.
everybody.
Well,
But
that's right.
For us, like I said, it was my kids. It was never, let's go get more candy.
Yeah.
I
All right.
made a point of it is just for the fun.
And I was offered many a times by the adults.
Nips.
Would you like something? No. Do you want a can to walk around?
It's like
I really shouldn't.
I'm good, thank you. I still.
I really no, thank you. But thank you for the offer. That was nice. That was nice
They,
of you.
even that's gotten more.
Has it?
That's
That's gone up?
increased from what I've heard. That's increased.
Okay. It's just
I remember
wait-
when I was a
just
kid,
things
there
are
was
going.
a little old lady on the street who, when you went to her house, she would give you nickels. Back when I was a kid, that was
One nickel.
one nickel. That was not a bad deal. You could
All
go
right.
down to Jack's Variety Store. You could get bubble gum. You could get. Nowadays, if they gave out nickels, they'd have eggs thrown
Yeah,
at their
just
house.
Right.
throw it
I'm
back. You know.
We had one of our neighbors would give the kids, so sometimes it was in a bag, sometimes it wasn't, but it was little stickers, a little pencil,
Yeah.
things like that. And every year my kids remembered that lady gave them stickers.
You remember
And
that?
she loved that they appreciated
Oh, really?
those stickers.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, just some observations I've made. And here we are. It's the end of July. It's the middle of summer, and yet we're talking Halloween because that's what the stores want you to
that's
start
what it-
thinking
that's what
that it's
happens.
Halloween time and get ready for it.
I,
And
like I
it-
said,
it is what
disagree. I
happens.
would like.
I would like the summer
but
to just continue.
I'm not going to Spirit Halloween. I'm not going in the Halloween aisle. I'm not looking for a costume.
Yeah.
Just stay away
All right.
and continue on.
And I'm sure the Spirit of Halloween stores do very well.
They do.
When they open up for their
Absolutely.
2 or 3 month period, and then they're done.
Now, if he's coming as a lawyer on Halloween, you and I have to come up with some really good costumes
Right.
to ward off this kind of danger.
So I just
Prison
remember.
guard.
Prisoner.
Prisoner.
Yes.
Prison
yes.
guard and prisoner.
I just remember the movie. See the movie Philadelphia?
No.
Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington.
Yeah,
Denzel
years ago,
Denzel
right.
Washington was the lawyer, and Tom Hanks was his client. And Tom Hanks was having a costume party, and Denzel showed up he's wearing a suit, and but there are papers stapled all over it, and he's like. Tom Hanks is looking at him and goes, I don't understand. What do you... He goes, I'm a lawsuit. So, yeah. But pretty easy to make, and doesn't cost you really any money. So there you go. All right, break time here on Coffee. And if you want to make any comments or questions, 766, whether you want, should we be celebrating Halloween in August already? Let us know. And does Christmas start on Labor Day weekend?
In September.
766-1240. More coming up.
ON Radio. John Chan's just like the rest of us. He's saying, what, August already? That's right. Tomorrow night, August 1st, it's more award-winning entertainment at Chan's, channeling the harmonies of Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young and the instrumentation of Neil Young's backing bands, and performing their interpretations of Neil Young's classic hits and rare gems are the Forever Young tribute to the music of Neil Young tomorrow night, 8 to 10 at Chan's, 25 in advance, 30 at the door. And then on Saturday night, it'll still be August 2nd. And the Daryl Nullish Band will be performing from 8 to 11 p.m. at Chan's. Harmonica master and the distinctive soulful blues singer Daryl Nullish is a 2-time Grammy Award nominee and a key member of the James Cotton Band and Ronnie Earls Band, featuring Dave Lamina on the organ, Chris Viterillo on guitar, and Michael Law on the bass, and Lauren Entres on drums. It's the Daryl Nullish Band Saturday night at Chan's. Plus, they got great food, too, at Chan's Fine Oriental Dining, 267 Main Street in Woonsocket.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON, AM, and FM.
Thanks for joining us on the Coffee and program on Thursday morning, July 31st. Joe Callahan here with Bob Lauder and Sue Tester McKenzie. Sue, time for our first message from the Blackstone Valley Call and Times newspaper.
Good morning, everybody. So as I mentioned the last time I was here, we are getting ready to do our Community Choice Awards. Different papers, radio stations, etc. in the area and beyond the area do these contests. Different areas get different winners based on what they read, what they listen to, etc. So if you would like to participate in our nominations round that kicks off on August 11th, we do have a very special pricing package. We've got quite a few pricing packages that you can pick and choose what you can afford. Each of these packages includes anywhere from 3 to 4, 5 ads for one nice, neat price. So if you're looking to at least get the information on that, by all means, call my cell phone. Be more than happy to email it off to you. My cell phone is 401-487-4136.
All right, Sue, very good. Well, Bob, I don't know if we talked to you about this, what the situation is going on up in Massachusetts, specifically up in Boston. But state legislative leaders are proposing a pay increase for bar advocates. The court appointed attorneys who represent indigent defendants. Did you hear about this?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I thought we did discuss this.
I don't know if Bob was here, though. The proposal comes 2 months after many of the bar advocates stopped taking cases because they have low pay. All right? The raises proposed by legislative leaders are well below what is being sought by the bar advocates, so they're probably just going to turn it down. Now, the lack of attorneys has led to dismissals of hundreds of criminal cases in multiple state courts. They bring them in. You know, it's in the Miranda rights. You're entitled to a lawyer when you've been arrested.
Right.
No lawyer is showing up for the people that have been arrested. So the judges say we've got no choice. You're free. They release them. Now the police are saying, okay, as soon as this whole thing has fixed itself, and we got lawyers back ready to take cases, they're going to go back and rearrest these people. Maybe they will, and maybe they won't. I don't know what they plan on doing. But that's the situation up in Boston. They too many cases, too little pay. They're basically on strike.
Well, that makes sense. Although, the common concept is lawyers are overpaid and all that sort of thing. But really...
Not public defenders.
No, they're not. And I think it's justified for them to say, okay, we cannot take on more work than we already have unless we are compensated for it. Mm-hmm. The part that is surprising to me is when you were saying that they were dismissed.
Not dismissed, released.
Okay, released.
Yeah,
All right.
the charges haven't been dismissed.
All right, then the police are not going to be going out and rearresting them. They're going to have their cases brought back to court.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're not dismissing the charges against anybody. They're just pushing everything off until sometime in the future when they resolve the
It's more
concept
like
of issue.
it's more like an old West movie where the sheriff says, "Don't leave town,"
Right?
because we're coming back for you,
Okay.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
It's going to clog the courts, though, when they finally do get that
Well,
resolved,
sure.
because there's going to be so many cases coming back.
Bob,
Yes.
do you know off the top of your head? I know it's Massachusetts, but just bring it down into Rhode Island. What do public defenders make?
I have no idea.
You don't? Okay.
I don't know.
Because you're not. After you come out of law school, you don't have to be a public defender.
No.
You choose to. Do you choose to do that, or if
Yes.
that's what you fall back on, if you can't hook while you're trying to hook on with another firm?
Usually the public defenders, at least in Rhode Island, have some serious background in criminal cases. They don't just walk in off the street and say, "Here I am, I'm right out of school and I'd like to get a job."
Yeah.
I would think that most of them have had experience doing criminal defense work beforehand. But even if they haven't, they come out of school, they pass the bar. When they go into being a public defender, I would imagine they get training by the public defender's office as to how we go about these things, what we're going to be doing in these kind of cases, and they probably start off with the least egregious cases, the traffic violations, assault and battery, things like that, which are maybe misdemeanors, and then they slowly work up to handling felony cases.
Okay. I think we were talking with Bob Phillips about this last week, and he says he's talked to people that, when you get a public defender, you're lucky if you get 5 minutes with your public defender because they're just so busy.
Right.
They come in, and I've got 20 people to see. I can give you 5 minutes, and their basic instructions, Bob, to whoever they're defending was take the plea.
Well,
Take the plea and get out of here.
I think that that's based on the public defender's analysis of, okay, these are the facts of the case. They don't
Yeah.
just pick up the files and go in blank. They
right.
look at them first. They would see what the charges are. They know what the penalties are if the person is convicted in a full trial. They know what the prosecution usually offers in these cases as an alternative to a full trial. They do talk with their clients, and they make the recommendations based on that kind of an analysis. It's not just, okay, every case that comes across the desk, we're going to try and plea bargaining.
Well, no, not every case,
Right.
but I guess based on the evidence, right? You should plead, kind of thing. So yeah, so things are not good up there in Boston with the lack of basically with the public defenders are on strike.
Well,
Not walking a picket line, but they're just not showing up to court to take the cases. So.
well, they may also have a dearth of public defenders, not enough of them available to do this
That's a
kind of work.
possibility as well. All right, back here in Rhode Island, sad news. There was a plane crash on Block Island, and one person died.
Wow.
2 others were hospitalized. Single airplane crash on the island. The Rhode Island Airport Corporation says the single-engine aircraft went down around 12:30, and the 2 victims were flown to Rhode Island Hospital. They are expected to survive. The other victim was taken to whatever they got on Block Island for medical.
Yeah, I was wondering that.
There's something there. I don't know if you call it a hospital, but there is something on the island. That's where they passed away. The plane was coming from Albany when it crashed on the island. NTSB is expected to be there today to take a look. And from what I've read is they just said reports, eyewitnesses say they just ran out of runway.
Wow.
I don't know if it's a new person flying the airplane and just misjudged, or a veteran and still just misjudged. These smaller airports, like a North Central,
Right.
and like a Block Island,
Right.
the runway's only so many feet, and then it ends.
Right.
You got to plan a little better. So
But I would imagine also that there's a number of aircraft that go into that airport every day.
Oh, I'm sure it
and
does happen, and everything's
fortunately,
fine.
we haven't had a crash like that
Yeah.
in a long time.
It was-
So it's not necessarily a problem of the construction of the airport so much
No,
as
no,
a
it's not.
pilot error.
it's a
in some
pilot
way.
thing. You're right.
The winds also play a factor.
Oh, yes.
The wind.
The crosswinds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, to overcompensate for the crosswind. That's what a guy was saying.
I don't know if you heard it. The sports related, Bob, but the Boston Red Sox had to fly from Boston to Minnesota a few days ago.
Okay.
Sunday night. Okay. Usually from Boston to Minnesota, that's a direct flight. things were so bad in the air, they landed in Detroit first, waited a little while, then went back up and went on to Minnesota. Now, baseball players, sports people in general, they fly a lot. All right. People players on the team were saying this was the worst flight they have ever been on, ever.
Wow.
Turbulence?
Turbulence-wise, pilot was fine, but just so bad, people getting sick, and some of the players couldn't play in the next game. They were still hooked up to IVs. They were still dehydrated.
Wow.
From throwing up so much. This was a bad flight.
Was this because of the heat wave that's
Yeah,
hitting the
that
part
dome
of the
that's over
country?
the central
Right.
part, and I don't know. You can't get above it. I can't fly. I'm not a pilot, so
Right.
I don't know what the problem is. But that's what they said. It was the worst flight they've ever been on, turbulence wise, and just praying to God that we got to get down. We got to get on the ground.
Wow.
And people were that sick because I always wondered that about baseball players because we've all had jet lag, and I don't know how players fly from one end of the country
Right.
and then perform at a high level. I said I'm exhausted if I fly from one end of the country to the other.
Right.
They do it all the time, and then they still go out and play. If someone couldn't go out and play after coming off an airplane flight, you knew something bad has happened on the flight. So,
Wow.
have you ever been on a flight like that? I
No.
have.
You
I don't-
have?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a rather small airplane because 2 seats on this side, only 2, aisle, 2 seats on this side. So usually it's 3, but this was 2, small plane, and we were flying from Indianapolis to Newark. I think that was it. And I'm in the aisle seat on the right hand side, and there was a lot of turbulence. And on the right hand side was the girls softball team from some college, all in pairs, going up and down. So there's a window, me, aisle, 2 girls, college age girls. This girl right next to me, she got sick.
Ooh.
Another girl, like 3 rows up, she got sick. And but I said, geez, is there anything I can do to help her? And
Yeah, right.
But she's with her teammates. They're all rushing to come help her. I said, I'm just staying out of the way.
Yeah, you get to that point,
I
you'll
don't need
back
to.
up.
Yep, I'm not a medical person. I don't know what to do, and you all want to
Right.
help her, and she knows you. She'll be
Right.
embarrassed if this middle-aged guy is going to try to come over and help.
Right.
Who's not a doctor. I'm just going to stay out of it. So yeah.
I remember being on a
it
flight
was
back
bad.
from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Oh, this goes back about 40 years during a major thunderstorm. And that was rough and kind of scary because of the lightning and things
Yeah.
like that.
You can see the lightning out the window.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I just chuckled when Bob said 40 years. But
It
then
wasn't
I
a biplane.
But hold on. I chuckled, but I should not have, because one of the planes I was on, I'm talking about small, there were 2 seats.
Yeah.
Pilot and me.
Wow.
2
That's
seats.
a tiny plane.
2 seats. And we were landing at Green, and the Delta flight was coming behind me, not knowing anything. I'm going, don't you think you should move over and let him go first? Because, what are we doing here? And then you hear the
air
tower
traffic,
come in
yeah.
and saying,
You're cleared.
whatever it is, Piper Cub, got a Delta
Yep.
coming up. Let's move, please. Let's just move. And
We don't have to wait for
anyway,
permission to move.
But that was about 40 years ago, and that's why I chuckled.
So, all right, quick story. But almost like 40 years ago, North Central Airport used to do a fundraiser for muscular dystrophy. Okay. And it was on Labor Day weekend, and you could go down to North Central, and you paid 2 cents per pound. So they weighed you, and you paid 2 cents to have a 10-minute flight.
neat.
Okay. And the money went to muscular dystrophy. So my dad brought me and my 2 brothers to go down there. But it's basically a 4-seat plane. Now there's 5 of us on the plane.
But everybody right now, people stopped listening to you. They're trying to figure out how much it would cost them to get on that flight. People
They got
stopped
to
listening.
calculate.
They're trying to calculate what it
That's
would
true.
cost.
Yes.
So, but it's so it's the pilot in their seat, my father's in the front seat, and us 3 brothers are in the back. There are not enough seatbelts for the three of us.
Okay.
Now, but remember, it's over 40 years ago. Things were a little different.
Yeah.
So the pilot just turns around and said, well, you two guys, hold your brother down while we take off. All right.
I can believe it.
And off we went.
Who was the one who drew the short straw?
Well,
Was
the
it-
youngest one.
Oh.
My younger brother. I'm the middle.
Oh,
So,
okay.
So it was me and my older brother on the sides, my younger brother in the middle. Okay, hold him down while we take off.
That's funny.
Our
that's
advantage
just-
is to being the eldest in
Well,
the family. Yes.
we got the seatbelts, and we were all fine, by the way. We hold on to them while we land, too. Okay, it's just we didn't have enough seatbelts, but okay. I don't think that would fly. No pun intended.
Right.
Today. All right, Sue, time for a second message, please, from the Blackstone Valley Call and Times newspaper.
Good morning. Just a reminder, federal holidays. Here's, Joe talking about all these holidays. Any federal holiday, we do not have a newspaper other than our e-edition, which is online. Due to that fact, we don't sell any advertising for the federal holidays because we don't want your ads to be lost or, not completely seen. So, however, if you are looking for any kind of advertising, whether it's print, digital, friends to follow on Facebook, anything at all, you can give me a call on my cell, and I'd be more than happy to either help you myself or direct you to the professional in that department. 401-487-4136.
All right, Sue, thanks. And more Coffee Ends coming up. Stay tuned, and we'll take a look at the forecast right now. Brought to you by Compassion International.
Increasingly cloudy today with a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms, high of 78 degrees and a breeze in the northeast. Precipitation amounts of a quarter to a half an inch of rain are possible later today. Tonight, patchy fog, showers and thunderstorms are 80% likely. New precipitation amounts overnight of a half to 3/4 of an inch are possible. Overnight low, 59 degrees. Friday's weather. Leftover rain showers in the morning, mostly cloudy all day, high of 68 and a breeze from the northeast up to 20 miles per hour. 60% chance of a quarter to a half an inch of rain in the early part of Friday. Saturday, sunshine and 78. Sunday, sunshine and 83. Monday, sunshine and a high near 87 degrees. Tuesday, mostly sunny and 85. And next Wednesday, partly sunny, high of 81 and calm wind.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Streets, cloudy skies, it's muggy, we have 75 degrees. Thousands of kids in poverty have waited over a year for a sponsor. End their wait today. Become a Compassion sponsor. Text radio to 83393.
Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogies with onions and what they call dirty sour cream. Or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported foods. Open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 in the morning till 6 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 8 to 5 p.m. It's Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse. Follow us on Facebook and learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street, Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
It's Coffee Ann here on ON AM and FM. Joe Callahan here with Sue Tester McKenzie and Bob Lauder. And Bob, guess what? Time for first message from your law office, please.
Thank you. Good morning. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. Recently, I've spoken with you about cases that went back to the election between Adams and Jefferson in 1804. That was the Marbury versus Madison case. Now, that old chestnut has encouraged me to look at several other old cases which still have pertinence today, and which reflect upon the obligations of property owners for injuries suffered by people outside the limits of the property owner's actual property. The first case is that of Taylor versus Olson, and it goes back to 1978. Olson was the owner of land adjoining a public highway in Oregon. The land was extensive, and Olson had been cutting down trees and logging on about half of the land. Late on a dark and windy evening in January, the plaintiff, Taylor, was injured when the car that she was driving struck a tree which had shortly before been splintered and fallen across the roadway. The plaintiff sued the landowner, claiming the landowner's negligence in maintaining the trees abutting the property violated his obligation to provide a reasonable care to prevent the unreasonable risk of harm to others. At the trial, the judge entered a directed verdict for the defendant. That is, a verdict wherein the jury never has a chance to deliberate the facts because the judge has determined that there is no issue to be brought before them for consideration. The plaintiff appealed the directed verdict to the Supreme Court of Oregon. The Supreme Court contrasted the obligations of a homeowner with a few trees in his yard to the obligations of an owner of a sprawling tract of woodland, where the practical difficulty of that owner's continuously examining each of the trees thereon. The court wrote that the question is not so much whether the defendant had some responsibility to give his attention to the safety of the trees, but rather how far that responsibility extends. The court ruled that the plaintiff needed to provide evidence that the defendant should have been on notice of the possible decay of this particular tree, and in the absence of visible decay, or the cutting into the bark of the tree, which is a common and ordinary method of examining trees in general, the plaintiff could not prevail. If you'd like to discuss legal matters with me, please contact my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. The disclaimer, the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
All right, I got a question on that, Bob.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
You got one, Sue?
I have to make a comment.
All right, go, Sue.
Bob's text got bigger again. His commercial really
The
isn't
font
4
size
pages.
has gotten bigger.
His commercial really isn't 4 pages long. It used to be one. We're going bigger text.
It's a little large.
A little, okay.
But that's for
I could
ease
read it
of-
from here, Bob. It's a little larger.
All right, Bob, in that case,
Yes.
who was cutting down the trees? Was it the owner of the land?
The owner of the land was cutting the trees.
Okay.
But
Well, then he is responsible if he's cutting down the trees and they end up in the roadway and a car hits it.
But it apparently wasn't in the area where he was cutting the trees. This was a distance away from the area he was cutting the trees, and the tree had
So
splintered.
it wasn't a
So-
cut tree.
No,
I see.
It,
Okay,
It splintered either because of lightning strike or
Okay.
because it was old and decayed.
All right.
and it fell into the highway.
But that's still his responsibility. It's his tree.
But the court
Yeah,
is
but
saying
that
you have
doesn't work
so-
that way.
You have so many trees, you can't be out there and being an
Inspecting them
arborist
all?
and
Right.
inspecting all of them.
Oh.
So,
So
you're not going to be held liable to this.
This is such
All
a
right.
you're
Wow.
at 100% right. Especially now, people, need to know who stands to be responsible for what.
Yeah.
In our neighborhood, there were 2 rather large trees that every windstorm, they were both dead. You could see they were dead. And every windstorm, you'd see a branch come down and another branch. Now, if you're parked on the side of the road because they overhung, you're parked on city property,
Yeah.
but the tree's on the private property. Did the owner know the tree was dead? Pretty obvious. It's dead. But it still becomes a real legal issue.
Oh, okay. All right, we got something else. Dave read this story this morning. It actually made our national news, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's a whole part of the story that we're not hearing just yet, and it's a Rhode Island state trooper is being forced to retire following an investigation related to a DUI stop. Now, authorities say former Sergeant Nuno Vasconcelos was pulled over by Rhode Island State Police on March 23rd on suspicion of drunk driving on 295 in Cranston. So it's a state trooper being pulled over by other state troopers
Driving his own vehicle.
driving his own vehicle because he was off duty, suspected of drunk driving. Okay? Now, the state police did not conduct a field sobriety test, and they eventually let him go. Let him get back in his truck and drive home. Now, the lieutenant colonel of the state police, Robert Creamer, tells Channel 12, quote, this did not meet the expectations of the Rhode Island State Police, unquote. Now, the man accused of the drunk driving, he was placed on administrative leave, and then he was forced to retire. There is a state law that allows a trooper to be discharged after they've worked for at least 20 years. So he's been on the force for quite a while. So he's been allowed to retire. But the question I have is, well, what about the state trooper or troopers that pulled him over and let him go?
Well, they're facing disciplinary action.
They are.
That was
good.
yesterday.
Because I don't have
so
that
what
in this part of the story.
They have the video of
Yeah,
the
they got a
truck
body cam, right? Oh, weaving, swerving in the.
So they
underneath
have
car?
the video of that.
Okay.
They got him out of the vehicle and had the driver sit in the police cruiser.
Uh-huh.
Whatever they did then, but the video said, I don't care where you're sitting.
Yeah.
But apparently he was pretty like, you're going to let me go, and that's the way it's going to be.
Because I'm your superior.
It's right. So I
and
don't
you're
know.
You're a youngster or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Pulling rank.
So
Wow.
they did follow him home. He made it home safely, but they observed him weaving like into the breakdown lane.
Wow.
Which, hello, how many state troopers
That's
are
where they get hit.
injured
Yeah.
in
that-
the breakdown
That's
lane?
where they get injured.
So that would have ticked me off.
So are they are the state troopers being suspended or
That
is
I don't know.
is
It just says they're now evaluating everything.
they did.
But they're not just putting that under the rug.
Okay, well, good. I'm
Yeah.
glad. I go. If everything is the way they say it is here, I go. Geez, they should at least be suspended for a week or something.
Something, yeah.
If they, because, and I know that boy, it's a tough situation.
It most certainly
when you
is.
get your superior, yeah, he's off duty, but obviously he's breaking the law. Now, what do? You want
You
to
know
be a
what?
nice guy, but you got to follow the law too.
Yep, and that kind of thing, and it doesn't need to just be law. It can be you as an employee are seeing your manager doing something very wrong
Yeah.
and not according to the company standards, and you're still in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you report your manager, or, as some of the memes I've read, they're part of the problem? You know what I mean? So you don't know which route to take, because you report them and only to get you still get in trouble from your higher ups, because how dare you arrest a sergeant? You know,
Right.
it's a tough spot.
Are you going to be ostracized when you
That's
from
right.
the others?
That's right.
And that's what happened. No, I can't remember the. Was it George Floyd? Was that Minnesota, where the cop was leaning on his neck,
Yeah.
and the other two cops were standing right around watching it? Well, the other two cops were rookies, and this was their superior officer
Yeah.
kneeling on his neck, and they're like, "Well, what do you do, sir? You're killing him. Leave me alone. I know what I'm doing." Holy cow!
And they
that-
were held responsible for
Yes,
that.
they
and
were.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
you're
that
right, and they
happens.
were.
Like I said, you know, you can work in McDonald's.
Yeah.
Your manager drops a burger and continues to serve it to
Puts
a
it back in.
customer.
Right.
You know, it's a tough spot to be in.
It is. It is. All right. This is good. Good news. I didn't realize we have a demand, but the Community College of Rhode Island wants to help to fill the demand for mammography technologists. I didn't know there was a shortage of this in Rhode Island, but with everything with healthcare, I'm sure there is. CCRI announced it's adding a mammography certificate program beginning in the fall. School says students can earn an 18-credit certification that included a training in breast imaging and gaining direct clinical experience at healthcare facilities. The president of CCRI, Rosemary Costigan, said the program is an example of how the school is developing programs that respond directly to the needs of our healthcare partners in our communities, as well as preparing students for meaningful, well-paying careers while strengthening Rhode Island's healthcare workforce.
No, I think
So
that's
good.
good.
Yeah.
I think that's good, because they should, you know, when you're trying to get your medical education. I mean, I deal with them all the time, and I've spoken with some that were like, I couldn't afford the extra 2 years, so that's why I'm doing this. So if you offer, less where they can continue to grow, versus where you still have to do 4 years, but then you can do 2 years and become a
get the-
mammography technician, we'll
Yeah,
say.
and start working.
Right. But then, you want to continue for your education further, you have
great.
that option.
Yeah.
And unfortunately now it's kind of like 4 years to do this, 6 years to do this.
Yeah.
And if you break it down a little bit better, maybe you'd get more people in the field.
I think it's great that they realized there was the
need.
shortage,
Shortage.
and
Yeah.
are making a response to it. Yeah.
There's got to be others. I'm thinking, if you spread it out, okay, X-ray technicians,
Yeah.
MRI people.
Yeah.
I I used to work with a guy. He worked back in my CompUSA days. I used like to say he worked full time there, but as a part-time job, he was a phlebotomist.
Yeah, I did the same thing here.
Like,
There's
what a
one
great-
right here in the city
Yeah.
that's a phlebotomist, but he works at Merriam.
Yeah, I said, what a great part-time job.
Yeah.
Because there's only a few people that like dealing with blood. So.
Yep, a lot less time involved.
Yeah.
in the education process.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot less. I think you can become a phlebotomist within 6 months,
Okay.
depending on how many courses you take.
So if you're looking
It's
for
not a lot.
if you're looking for a part-time job, and look into these technical
Yeah.
fields of what to do, and maybe you can get going.
Does it say what other courses they offer that are similar?
I know they
CCRI?
used to offer a dental hygienist stuff
Okay.
courses over there. I'm not sure what
Right.
other. This is just the newest one they're starting to offer.
Right.
That mammography technologists are in short supply. We need more. Let's start bringing
Right.
people in that can do this kind of work.
Great.
And
I
it's-
think it's great, yeah.
All right. Funny story. My wife has got very small veins, and so she's had one of the last times she went to go have blood drawn. I mean, 3 people came in to try to do it
Yeah.
and missed.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a little.
They gotta
it's
get a
not
baby needle.
They do. They were
Yeah.
using that. It's a little painful, but not excruciating. But it's funny. That one of them actually said, "We have to bring in Dracula," and they weren't kidding. It was another doctor. That was his nickname. And so they called for him, and down he came,
Yeah.
and got it done. They said, for the tough cases, this is who we call, because he has never failed not to get blood from somebody.
Wow.
He
Wow.
can find the vein. So that was his nickname. He was
Well, it's
Dracula.
tough because I went to give blood like last week, and they, there's your veins, okay?
Yeah.
So first you're supposed to drink a lot of fluids, 3 days prior, et cetera, whatever. Do you know they went over here?
Oh,
to
on
hit
another
me?
side of the arm?
They went to the side of the
Wow.
Of course, now I'm sitting there and they can see my face. I'm going. I'm done. I'm out. Not because of the giving blood. I got this feeling that I was getting vertigo again.
Oh, okay.
It was an awful feeling. I was fine, but in it, couple minutes, ice pack in my neck, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also very hot and humid. That doesn't help.
Nope, not at all.
So, but yeah, they use a baby needle on me sometimes. They never did before, though.
Okay.
I remember years back
Dracula.
when we first acquired the office on Blackstone Street. There was a different church across from me. They were having a blood drive, and the pastor's wife came over and asked if I wanted to be involved. And I gave my usual. She said, "You're scared." Well, I am not going to have a woman call me scared.
I am not.
So I went, and it was so easy. I was ashamed that I hadn't been doing it before, and then I started doing it every month, what you're allowed to do it, until I had a medication that won't allow me to do it
All
any
right.
longer. But that went on for years, and it was easy.
It is easy.
It was never painful, and
Yeah.
you went up to the blood bank on Diamond Hill Road, and it was great. Yeah.
And free cookies and juice afterwards.
I
how great is
like
that?
the Lorna Dunes. The only place I have Lorna Dunes.
All right. We'll take another break here on Coffee and. So, Bob, it's time for a second message from attorney Bob Lauder.
Good morning. Thank you. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. The second case I'd like to discuss with you this morning involves the great American pastime of baseball, and it's known as Sullivan versus Wilmington Park, and goes back to 1950. Wilmington Park owned a baseball field which was adjacent to 30th Street in Wilmington, Delaware. An average of 68 games were played in the park each baseball season, and during those games, an average of 16 to 18 foul balls would come outside of the park and land in the area of 13th Street. One afternoon, while walking along 30th Street, the plaintiff was injured when hit by a ball. The plaintiff brought litigation seeking compensation for his injuries. The plaintiff did not contend that the ballpark was an insurer of safety of the people lawfully using the highway adjacent to the park, but rather the defendant was the landowner and had a duty to exercise reasonable care in the use of its land to prevent injury to travelers lawfully using the highway adjacent to the park. The case went to a trial without a jury, and the trial justice found in favor of the plaintiffs, and wrote, "The inherent nature of the game of baseball is such as to require the landowner to take reasonable precautions for the protections of the traveling public. What precautions are reasonable must depend upon the facts and the circumstances of the particular case. Only those precautions are required which, in the inherent nature of the game and its past history for a particular location, make it necessary for the protection of persons lawfully using the highway. Under the circumstances, it seems clear that although the defendant took precautions, the defendant should have known that they were insufficient to protect the public for 16 to 18 balls falling into 30th Street area during each game, and therefore was liable for the injuries suffered by the pedestrian. If you think my office may be assistant to you in legal matters, please call me for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer, the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
And that's why there are very high nets around all baseball fields that run perpendicular to, or parallel, I should say, to streets.
Makes a lot of sense.
Take a drive over by Mount St. Charles. Their baseball field is right in the front of the school, right on Logie Street, and they've got towering nets to keep the balls. I mean, I'm sure a ball could go over the net. I mean, it's possible, but they've done their due diligence to get a net up to try their best to protect balls from going out onto the road.
Now, what is the green monster at Fenway Park? That's a
wall.
A wall.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's to protect people as well.
Well, gee, I wouldn't look at it that
I
way.
wouldn't. Yeah, no.
People hit it over the wall a lot,
Right.
and the balls they've broken windshields. Happen all the time, every year at Fenway, because people park across from the Green Monster. But you must know that, though. If you're going to park there, you might get a broken windshield, but you get a free baseball. How great is that?
Whoa. Whoa.
Right?
No, I don't. Yeah. So, all right.
Unless somebody witnessed the ball go through your window and they're going to go get it.
That's true.
I've heard of that happening.
Oh, I'm sure that happens too. People will do anything for a free ball.
Right?
It's weird.
Jeez.
They will. Look out. They'll knock you out of the way.
You know, you don't have that issue in stamp collecting.
No,
Nobody
that
runs
doesn't
up and
happen. They don't go, you got a George Washington Carver, get out of my way?
No.
No?
not at
Wow,
all.
that's amazing. All right, break time on Coffee and More is coming your way. Stick around.
ON Radio.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-In and My Plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years on any plan with My Plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
ON, AM, and FM.
It is Coffee and on ON, AM, and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Sue Tesser McKenzie and Bob Lauder. And Sue, I'm going to read this story because I find it kind of amusing.
Looked right when you did that. It looked like I disappeared, but it was a different camera. Reappeared.
Mostly because it's between women, and it happened at Boston City Hall. A Boston City Hall employee is under investigation after she allegedly struck a woman in the face with her high heel shoe.
Ooh,
What?
that could be dangerous.
Yes, it could. All right. Now, the incident involving Deputy Director of Neighborhoods Ciara D'Amico happened last Friday in the North End. It reportedly began with D'Amico's father getting into a fight with an adult female neighbor.
Okay.
D'Amico allegedly removed her high heel shoe, hit the woman more than 3 times in the face. Sounds like battery, Bob.
Yes.
Right?
No arrests have been made in connection with the brawl. Still under investigation.
Yikes.
I need a weapon. And you ever see a woman take off her shoe and hit someone with it?
Well, only on TV.
Oh, okay. Never in real life?
No,
Okay.
Personally, last thing I'm going to do is take off my shoe.
They're expensive, aren't they?
Right. if whatever the circumstance, because now you've got to take them both off. Now that's going to give the opportunity for the other person to step on in and knock you on your butt while you're taking off. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Does not make sense. However, I did just look up. I'm trying to find the video.
Is there one out there?
I don't know that today.
In the,
there's always a
meantime,
video.
does the fight
So
between these two women have anything to do with the filming of The Real Housewives of Rhode Island?
No, because it was in Boston. So really,
Oh.
the fight starts between a woman and a guy, and the guy's daughter, who's the Boston City Hall employee, she steps in. Hey, stop pestering my father! Allegedly whacks the other woman 3 times with her shoe. Doesn't say if she breaks the heel. That's what stuff I want to know.
I'm
Hey,
waiting.
this is pretty new. That was in the North
Yeah,
End.
happened last Friday.
All right.
So like less than a week
Well,
ago.
I got an update here because
what-
it says
what do you
it
got,
was
Sue?
updated yesterday. I mean,
You got a video?
I'm sorry, but this woman does not, in any way, shape, or form, look like an individual that's going to hit you with your shoe.
Okay.
Well,
Seriously.
what kind
No,
of
she looks very
But
nice.
but when you
Very-
hear
very
it, you're
demure.
thinking.
Yeah. Question
I
mark?
was wondering what kind of a person do you think is going to hit you with your shoes?
Well, she looks like she's like 20 and 21 and would try to, smooth things over civilly, but apparently not.
I hate to tell you, but man, I would be more concerned with the father,
Yeah?
John D'Amico, that was punching a woman in the face multiple
Wow.
times.
See what that's not part of the
What
story
in
I have.
hell's name
What's
happened
going on
here?
there? So
I got to read the story after.
all right.
It's Boston Herald News Report is what just.
All right.
Boston City Hall staffer embroiled in alleged
Yep.
North End shoe fight.
There you go.
I'm
Okay,
still
there's
waiting
more
for
to
the
the
Real
story.
Housewives of Rhode Island, though.
It's
Right?
coming.
Yeah.
You know they're filming it, right?
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's coming. Up in New York, the state of New York, there's 152 legal cannabis shops or pending ones in New York State, and they all have to move.
Why?
They're in the wrong locations. They are too close to schools and churches. You would think they would have figured this out
Yeah.
beforehand. Following approval mistakes by the state. The Office of Cannabis Management notified the business owners this week about the error. So the state made the error.
Right.
The state came in and
do
said,
by
"You're okay,"
as the
and now they're
crow
not.
flies, or as you would actually travel there?
I don't know. State law in New York requires the cannabis shops to be at least 500 feet away from the edge of the property line of schools and houses of worship. Okay, Bob?
I would have thought that the attorneys for each of those cannabis shops would have been aware of the law and have known where the location was and been able to warn them ahead of time.
But the
And-
state
so they
said
didn't-
at the beginning, yeah, everything's fine.
Yeah,
You're,
but when
you're
you-
far enough away.
When you're making your application, I would imagine you put in information that says this is where my location is. These are the concepts of the law that I have to fulfill, and I am in fact 650 feet away from the junior high school.
XYZ.
building.
Yeah,
However-
but if they did it, like I said, it was as the crow flies versus
Well, here we go.
walking there.
The
So,
Office of Cannabis Management says it had been mistakenly measuring from the entrance of the cannabis shop instead of the edge. No, not the
Okay.
cannabis shop. Maybe the entrance to the school instead of the edge of the property. Does that make sense?
That's unusual.
No, that wouldn't
Usually
work.
you consider it to be the edge of the
It-
property. In,
yeah,
in
right.
Both cases.
Okay. Well, the
Maybe
governor.
they were smoking at the time they made the regs.
The governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, is setting up a $50 million fund to help the impacted businesses relocate, and that's why millions of people are leaving New York State for foolishness like that. That's what our taxes are going
beyond. That's
for.
beyond.
That is
That
ridiculous.
I would
is-
imagine. I would imagine that a lot of that $50 million comes from the taxes that are paid by the cannabis shops.
Maybe, but some haven't opened. Well, some have opened, some are still pending.
Okay.
So some haven't collected any tax money yet.
Darn.
But $15 million to
But
help
they
you move to
pri-
a new place.
But I'm sure they've done quite a bit of work inside, so the investments are still there.
Yeah.
get in.
Yeah. Okay. But now you got to find a place that's got
Yep.
the same amount of square footage that you want, and
Vehicular traffic across the front.
yeah. The traffic that you want that had it good here, but may not be so great over here. Do I stay in this town? Do I move to another town? There's
Right.
just a lot of questions there. Well, we had last week. We had the death of Hulk Hogan, and his former boss Vince McMahon is facing charges after a multi-car crash in Connecticut last Thursday.
Oh, geez.
He's facing reckless driving charges. According to Connecticut State Police, Vince McMahon was driving one of 3 vehicles involved in a crash in Westport, Connecticut, where he reportedly rear-ended another car and then crashed into a wooded beam guardrail. No injuries were reported, and McMahon was issued a misdemeanor summons for reckless driving and following too closely, resulting in the accident. He was released after posting bond. He's scheduled to appear in court on August 26th. I know it's Connecticut, Bob, but is he facing a larger fine?
If it's a misdemeanor, it's probably, as in Rhode Island, be related to, I think it's $1,000.
Yeah.
And or the possibility of a year in jail.
Yeah. He won't get that.
No.
And he certainly has $1,000, so he's a very
Right.
he's a very
I think
rich
his,
man. And
his
now he's
bigger
going to buy
problem
another
is going
car.
to be the litigation that's brought by the injured parties from the crash.
No one was injured.
The vehicles
how-
are damaged, and they may say they're not injured immediately because they don't know that the residual damages are coming along.
Okay.
So how does it's 9 o'clock?
Yeah.
Because that car he rear-ended had to maintain control of their vehicle. How does that work with the law? Because I know you're supposed to be able to maintain.
Yeah. I
So
don't know.
where's the third car come in? Having said that, have a great rest of your week.
Maybe behind him. I don't know. So,
Right.
All right. Thanks for coming in, Sue. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Bob Lauder, thank
Thank
for
you
being
for
here.
inviting me.
All right. This is Joe Callahan. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember us coming up after the 9 o'clock news on ON Radio?
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news.